Hey everybody, I hope you had a great weekend. We stayed in San Diego this week after being gone for almost a month on Tiki Adventures, which means I got to go to the swap meet. And I found a lot of cool stuff this weekend, a lot of great things. Some of them, I'm able to post on Instagram, but I can't do all of it. I got a lot of messages, people wanting to buy things that I've found. Sometimes I'm willing to part. Most of the times it's for my own private collection. But a lot of folks have been asking me, so I figured I'd start making these videos and discuss some of the things that I look for and some of the things that may interest you. But before we start that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Sid Bass. He's playing in the background on vintage vinyl. And let's get started. So, one of the things I collect, and I have probably 40, 50 of these things, are fezzes from the Shriners and other fraternal organizations. This one is not in the greatest condition, but it's one I don't have, and it also has the little pin. So this was a great find. I didn't pay very much for it. Some people are charging tons of money for these things nowadays, but this is going to go into the collection at the library over at the ranch back in Joshua Tree. So very happy about this find. I found some music this weekend, and I'm very particular about what I buy. Usually just jazz or punk rock, alternative stuff. I'm not really looking for classic rock or anything like that. But I did find some cool stuff. I found a Ravi Shankar box set. This was pretty cool. I didn't pay very much for this. And I got a stack of other CDs. Pretty excited about these. Keith Jarrett. Keith Jarrett put out a lot of stuff. He actually doesn't play anymore because he has something wrong with his hands, some nerve damage. He's still around though. Played with Miles. Big time jazz guy. This is one I didn't have, and this one has Paul Motan and Gary Peacock on it. It's a live album. Pretty excited about that. Then, randomly, I found 4 albums by Echo and the Bunnymen. They were supposed to be at the recent Cruel World. They couldn't make it because of visas. And I already had these albums, but these are the expanded editions that have 5 to 6 bonus tracks on each one and extra liner notes, things like that. So all their seminal records, and this one was upside down. My apologies. And I just found these in a random box at the swap meet. I paid less than you pay for a cup of coffee for all 4 of them. Pretty cool find. And then I'm not sure where the other one is of this. I actually found 2 CDs by this band. The other one must be over at the computer. This is Banyan, which you may have never heard of, but it's Stephen Perkins of Jane's Addiction and Mike Watt, the bass player of the Minutemen, who later went on to play with the Stooges and Iggy Pop, amongst others. It's a punk rock legend. It's a band that they had in the 90s after Jane's Addiction broke up. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. Sigur Rós? They're European folks that are kind of heady. They, look like they solve complex math problems in their spare time. Not really my thing, but for $1, it's obscure enough for me to check out. Finally, Modest Mouse. Some of your alternative college rock sort of stuff. Johnny Marr did a couple things with them. It's worth checking out for $1. Let's move on. Oh, no. I got one more CD here. And it's a pretty cool one. I mentioned Mike Watt earlier with the Banyan. I found one of Mike Watt's CDs, and it opens up like a book. Cool stuff. DVDs. I buy a lot of DVDs. I watch a lot of DVDs. I don't watch any TV. I haven't watched TV in probably 20 some odd years. The only time I ever see a TV is if I'm on a plane or in a hotel. And most of the time, it really makes me feel like, when Khan put the bug in Chekhov's ear and the Rafa Khan, and he started rolling around on the ground freaking out. That's how I feel when I watch most television. It's like corroding. So I found some DVDs to add to the collection that I watch. Usually watch 1 or 2 per night, depending on how long they are, while I'm unwinding. Found some real cool stuff here. Sonic Youth. No introduction needed. This is a DVD of their music videos. It goes from 1990 to 2002, when they're probably at the height of their popularity. And it's got 23 different videos on it, including probably their biggest hit, Cool Thing, and a lot of other of their more famous songs. And there's some extra sort of stuff in here, little documentary footage, things like that. Pretty cool. The only band that matters. That's what they said, and a lot of people agree. The Clash. Live. You can see it's a bootleg. I don't care. This is The Clash in Tokyo and Paris. Probably never heard of this guy, and there's a shame that you haven't. Little Jimmy Scott. Check him out. He was this little guy that sounded like a woman. That was big time, that found obscurity, and then came back into vogue in the late 90s. Pretty interesting story. This is his story. Finally, as far as the DVDs go, a little guilty pleasure. I'm a mid-century guy. Batman. The original Batman. The entire series. This wasn't a few dollars. I paid a bit of money for this. A couple gallons of gas. But excited to find the entire original series. Batman. Not that Marvel or DC stuff that you guys are watching now. Adam West. Frank Gorshin. Cesar Romero, Eartha Kitt, Julie Newmar, all those cool folks. What's his face? Mickey from Rocky. Wasn't he in there? Good stuff, good stuff. All right, I got some books too. So it's gonna take me a while to go through all this, obviously. The DVDs and the CDs I can blow through pretty quickly, but the books, some of them are gonna have to go into the library until I get a chance. They're actually falling down. Until I get a chance to look at this. Super excited. I probably said that like 5 times already, but super excited. Gore Vidal, writing Pulp Fiction. Come on, somebody gave this up for $3. The Letters of Burroughs. Had to pick this up. One of my guys. Dee Dee Ramone. Couple bucks. As you can tell, there's a theme running here. Richard Hell and the Voidoids Television. Married to Patty Smythe at one time, who's now Mrs. John McEnroe. Somebody had a punk rock book collection and gave it up, and I found it. Maybe my biggest hero, Warhol. Chelsea Hotel. Punk rock, all, countercultural haven. Going back, way back. Anybody who's anybody in the New York scene lived there, stayed there, from Burroughs to Patti Smith to Jim Carroll. Sid Vicious allegedly killed his girlfriend Nancy Spungen there. Dee Dee Ramone lived there. Little LA punk rock, since I'm out here in California, been here almost 20 years. John Doe, the guy from X, LA punk band, LA punk rock history. This, I might never get to this. It's huge. Look what I found for $5. Look at how big this thing is. Captain Beefheart. Can you believe that? Just laying there on the ground. Somebody had great taste in music and books. And they died or lost their storage space or got kicked out by their girlfriend or who knows. My game. The Clash said that they were the only band that matters. I say the greatest band ever, outside of the Rolling Stones, of course. The Replacements. The greatest band that never was. When I was a kid, everybody wanted to be a replacement. And I had a couple friends back in the day who, I'm not going to front, I haven't seen these guys in 20 some odd years. But they got to be the Replacements. Pretty much. I won't say who they are, but you probably know. They became what the Replacements should have became. And I'm very happy for them. Love the Replacements. I met Westerberg once. I met Tommy once. I had to stop myself from being a little girl like the ones that were at Shea Stadium back in the day with the Beatles. You know, that sort of thing. I was still probably massively annoying, but that's what happens when you're 20 some odd years old, drunk and meeting your heroes. So mostly what I read and what I take to court into jails with me is pulp fiction. Detective novels, crime novels, things like that. Not true crime. That's what I do for a living. You guys know I'm an attorney, right? I'm not a criminal. Just to clarify. The Carter Brown mysteries. I found a whole stack of these for like $10. This will do me for about a month. Good stuff. One of the strange things I buy, other people's memories, photo albums. Ta-da! And it's upside down because it would be, right? But mid-century up to the 70s. Cool stuff. Let me see if I can find some. Look at that woman right there. That, come on. Can't get that today, can you? It's beat up. It's destroyed. Classic, underground classic. I'm going to scan this. I'm going to save it, not throw it away. And one of my book guy friends can resell this. People are always looking for this. It's $2. They're not going to want me to show this because there's prudes out there. There's people who are offended by everything. And you know, I'm a New York Jew. I was born to offend, so I can't help that. But I found a stack. I'll show them to you sideways. I'll flash by. A friend of mine, he knows that I collect vintage pornography, and he had a stack of bondage magazines, and I got them very cheap, and they're going to go into the bar that we have at the house that's dedicated to naked ladies. If you haven't come out there yet, you should. Tally, that's my wife. She likes to sew. So I find vintage patterns for her. Those are men's bathrobes. Look at that. Poodle skirt. Cool skirts. Dresses. These were $1 each. They go for a lot more. I buy weird stuff, obscure stuff, strange stuff. I bought this little plastic box. Why? So when I travel, I can put this on the nightstand or the desk or whatever, throw all my wallet and keys and cash and little personal belongings, my wedding band, in there, shut it, put it there, and then when I have to leave, I know where everything is. Nothing gets lost. So, you know, I'm always thinking ahead. In case of emergency. In case some crackhead or something burns the place down. Although they tend not to stay at the places I stay because I'm kind of fancy. Records, I know you're waiting for those. I got a ton of records here. Let's blow through these because I think Sid Bass is about to end if he hasn't. This is for my buddy JD Tab Hunter. These were all a buck or two. And Sid Bass did end. Sam Butera from Keely Smith and Louis Prima's band. Murray Wilson, you know who he is? He had a son named Brian. And people keep calling me on the other line. He had a son named Brian who's kind of a big deal. I guess that allowed him to make his own record that maybe people don't remember. Cuban, Prez Prado. More Prez Prado. The aforementioned Lewis and Keely. Keely died a few years ago in Palm Springs, and they had a estate sale of all her stuff. And I know some people got a couple things. I think my friend Rory got her Christmas ornaments. The strangest stuff. More Sam Butera. This guy, one of Jack Kerouac's favorite, George Shearing, blind pianist. Always had the prettiest girls on the cover. No idea who this guy is, but it's Afrobeat, so it's got to be cool. You know, you're not gonna spend $2 on this. Once again, I have no idea who this guy is, but look at the title: Lyrica Erotica. Lyrica Erotica, Volume 1. Volume 1. With songs like Chloe Blushed, Young Stephan and Phyllis, The Pipe of Love, Of All the Brisk Dames, or Dames. Legend. Yeah, I told you, I bought a lot of stuff this week. We mentioned her, didn't we? Catwoman. Don Cherry. You know who Don Cherry is? You should. Jazz legend. This is a strange thing that I found. I bought his other record, which is Purple. He was a hypnotist, lounge singer sort of deal, local to San Diego. I have the red record or purple record. My friend Dave Warsaw actually has this one, so now I have both. Pete Rugolo, unsung hero of Exotica. Portuguese guitars. I love Fado, but that's just the guitars. Oscar Brown Jr. Look him up. Tremendous singer. I'm not big into vocal jazz, but Oscar Brown was the shit. One of my favorite musicians, Herbie Mann. Get yourself into Herbie Mann. Get into it. He is it. I have a large collection of various different records, bullfighting records, you know, you name it, just really strange stuff. And one of my collections is belly dance records. They usually have very attractive women on the cover. And I did find some Les Baxter. There's a couple more things here, and I'm like boxing myself out here, that I was able to find. More Exotica. A couple more books. I found these books on Friday. Bill and Elaine de Kooning. Elaine was also a painter. Just like Lee Krasner and Jackson Pollock, they were husband and wife artists. The wife was overshadowed in support of the husband's career, and only later did their star rise. I actually saw an exhibit of Elaine and Lee's work, of all places, here in San Diego, not exactly the art capital of the world, a few years ago. And then I found these books on geocentric domes. There's a number of these out in the desert on the Joshua Tree where our house is, and they're pretty interesting. Paul Verlaine. The band Television, Tom Verlaine gets his name. Patti Smith. A lot of the early punk people were incredibly influenced. Leroy Jones, Amari Baraka. Black nationalist poet. Down with the Beats, and Ginsberg and Burroughs and people like that. When Ginsberg was living in France in the Beat Hotel, he had a correspondence with Baraka, and he used to write Baraka on toilet paper. Richard Brodigan, who should be as well known as people like Bukowski and that, but isn't really. He is one of the brighter lights of the second half of the last century, and he killed himself. Fashion illustration teaches you how to be a fashion illustrator, which, if you didn't know, is how Andrew Warhol started, otherwise known as America's greatest artist, Andy Warhol, and drawing the figure. So when I decide to start painting and, doing my outsider surrealist art, as Tom Laura calls it, I'll have some foundation. Found a couple more records. The Mystic Mood Orchestra, they're having an orgy here on the cover. These Series 4 records are always so great. Look at that cover. What's that woman doing there? Hugo Winterhalter. Look at that. It's like a desert island. Martin Denny. You gotta get Martin Denny when you see him. And then look at that. Don't you wish you had a room like that where you had a couch and a pretty redhead with this naked statue in the back, and then like this windscreen sort of thing over the window, and those are things I dream about. Couple more records. Stereo Action. This, I have no idea what this is, but it looks really, really strange. And it's The Taste of Malasadas. And the song titles on these are Portuguese Fight Song. Not Portuguese, Portuguese. Auntie Palu, Monday Manure, Filipino Fiesta, and Star Wars Close Encounters. And there's some recipes here. This guy is on the back. Look at this stuff. See the recipes on there? I haven't played it. I have no idea what this is about. This guy, Charles Boyer. I'm not sure what that's about, but he looks cool as fuck, doesn't he? Same with this fella. But somehow he made it to Vegas, so he's got to be cool. He looks like a cousin of mine from back home. Exotica. And the Fados that I mentioned earlier that I love, Portuguese torch songs. Got two more things, and then I'll let you go. One, I can't show you because it's too heavy and I can't bring it up here. But if you've been following my page, you saw it. It's a vintage steamer trunk that I got for nothing. For less than it costs to fill up the gas tank on the Subaru right now. I need to do some restoration on it, and then Tally's going to be using it to go to the tiki events. The second cool thing I found, it's nothing incredibly special, but the price was right. And I'm going to put it in the guest house so that when our friends come over and want to jam out, they can. And it is a Fender Starcaster guitar. It was made in Indonesia, so all the guitar snobs can say, oh, it's not American. Doesn't matter. When you pay $50 for a guitar and it's intact, no chips, the neck is straight, the pickups are all fine, It's strung. The knobs are great. The tuners are great. Everything's there. $50. It's gonna go in the house, and when cats come over and the spirit invokes them to channel Hendrix or Neil Young or Bob Mould, for that matter, it'll be ready. So that's it. That's what I found this week. Our music went out about 10 minutes ago. My phone rang about 4 times. So maybe next time I need to rehearse. Who knows? But hopefully you saw some cool things. Some of them I might be willing to part with. Most of them are going to just go into the collection. And then maybe I'll get rid of them at a later date. But it's stuff that's going to keep me occupied for a while. And keep me off the street. All right. Until then, later.